What's up, folks? It's your boy Coach Ty back at you with another workout, and I've got the return of Montana. She's going to be helping us with this one. We've got full body bodybuilding day number 3. Again, these workouts are meant to be done in succession, 3 days on, 1 day off. So this is our final day in this program. Again, go check us out, musclewiki.com/workouts for this workout and the full routine. Ready? Mm-hmm. Here we go. All right, our first two moves, cable chest press and the Romanian deadlift. I would usually do a Romanian deadlift in the rack where you lift up from the rack and take a step back, but for the sake of efficiency and time, we just brought the bar over here. As always, we're going to use the moves that we're performing as our warm-up moves. So, here we go. Ready? There you go. And we're going for a standard bench press. So we want the elbows at a 45-degree angle and fully extend and bring the fists together. Yep. And then back to your sides and then press. Yep. Let's go 10 reps of these. 3. Let's go a little bit slower. Yeah. Again, we're just focused on practicing this pattern. And again, you always want to try to start breaking a little bit of a sweat before you start. 9 and 10. Resting, okay? Done on that, and we'll step over here to the barbell. Again, we've got the Romanian deadlift. So it's meant to be mostly extended knees. We don't want hyperextended knees, of course, soft knees, and hips back, hips forward. So you're looking for what feels like a stretch through your hamstrings. Now, some ladies will actually need to do this exercise elevated because the plates are going to hit the ground likely before you've gotten to a point where you are lengthening those hamstrings adequately. So if you need to, stand on top of a box or a plate, a thick plate or something like that. And again, look for the stretch on this exercise. Stretch those hamstrings. Stretch, stretch, stretch. When you feel the stretch, time to come back up. And as always, we want to keep a flat back on this one. What number are we on so far? 8 or something. Perfect. And last one, 10. Resting. Okay. All right, so again, just for the sake of time and keeping this video relatively short, we're just going to roll with those as our warm-up sets. But I would encourage you, especially if you're doing quite a bit of weight on either of these exercises, to do 2 or maybe even 3 warm-up sets. Again, look for a light sweat. When you hit a light sweat, time to get started. Let's do it. All right, folks, here we go. Set number 1, and we are going to 10. One cue I like to use on, especially a cable bench press, because you're bringing the arm across the body, is imagine you have a stick between your elbows, and as you press, try to break that stick. It's going to force you to flex your pecs really hard. And continue focusing on your range of motion. You only need to get even with your body. Once your upper arm goes past your upper body, the pecs enter what's called passive insufficiency, meaning they are too lengthened. You can go ahead and rest. Meaning they're too lengthened to properly exude force. And so there's no real need to come back here. Also, a lot of stress goes on that shoulder joint back here. So just stop even with your torso before you press, okay? And we're straight over to the RDL. And let's see what this range of motion is looking like. Let's try to stop just before the plates touch back down so we keep tension on the hamstring. Yep. And we'll go to 10 on this one as well. 2, 3. Another good cue that I like on the Romanian deadlift, 4, count those for me, is don't just push your butt back, but try to push your butt up and towards the ceiling as well. It's going to force your knees to stay a little bit more extended and again, get a better stretch through those hamstrings. Lengthen, lengthen, lengthen. What number are we on now? 9 and 10. Resting. Okay, and you could take roughly a minute in between your sets. Again, the reason I like training full body is while you're training one muscle, the other muscle is resting. And also the pecs and the hamstrings are predominantly fast twitch, so we don't need a whole lot of volume. We're gonna do 3 sets here, but you can even get away with just doing 2 sets for these body parts in one workout. All right, folks, set number 2. Again, break that stick. See if we can get back to 10. Now, for demonstrating the form purposes, we're going a little bit lighter than we otherwise would go, but for you at home, again, look for fatigue. The amount of reps that you're able to complete should be decreasing set over set. That was 8, 9, last one, looking good, 10, perfect. Resting. I also prefer using a bench instead of doing these standing because you have leverage to press from. So you'll be able to use a lot more weight and you don't have to worry about balancing, being pulled off balance, which I would call a limiting factor with this exercise. So I prefer these with a bench, although they're totally fine to do standing. And if all the benches are taken or the bench is on the other side of the gym and you can't get it to where you're at, totally fine to do these standing. Again, practical versus optimal. You have to do that assessment constantly. Okay. Back to 10. Look for the stretch. 2, 3, 4. Good so far. 5, 6. Romanian deadlift is also a great glute move. So you can count this as your glute volume for that day. Not really much need to do any additional glute work on top of this. 10. Resting. Yep. All right, folks, final set on the bench press. As always, you're gonna start fatiguing, so make sure you maintain your form. However many reps you get is how many reps you get. We wanna stop 1 or 2 reps shy, always. No need to go all the way to failure. 7, 8, 9, last rep, 10. Resting, okay? And if you want to bring your pecs even more into play or have more activation of the pecs, internally rotate your shoulder and flare your elbows out real hard. Now that is harder on the shoulder joint, so you want to be careful with that, especially if you have shoulder issues, but that's how I like to do all of my bench pressing and flying, with internally rotated shoulders. All right, here we go. Last one on the RDL. Back to 10. 1, 2. Keep looking for that stretch. Keep that back flat. 4. Halfway there. 6. 8. Last one. 10. And resting. All right, 3 sets done on our first 2 exercises, and we are moving on to the next ones. And as usual, I forgot what they are, so I'll tell you what they are in a second. 2 exercises. All right, our next 2 exercises, high cable rear delt fly. We are gonna do these with internally rotated shoulders, so what I like to do is pull the strap to where it's here, and then you can go with a thumbless grip like so. Then you'll grab the other side. Take a couple steps back, and then you're here. I like to put the cables up as high as they can go on this exercise because the rear delts, the line of, what's the word I'm looking for? The direction the fibers travel is at an angle. So to match that angle, we bring the cables up a little bit higher. That's exercise number 1. And then exercise number 2 is called the lat prayer. Now I want you to actually practice this exercise. Do kind of a practice set. Now you can do this with either a rope or straight bar, V-bar. You got a few options here. But essentially, grab here, hips all the way back. So you start here in this position, ears between your biceps. And then as you perform the pullover, you're gonna shoot your hips forward. Hips back, hips forward. Hips back, hips forward, okay? Let's try that out. Let's just do 8 to get the form down. Yep, nice and easy. So the thing with this exercise, this is a creation of Menno Henselman's, Bayesian Bodybuilding, shout out. When you're in this position here, you're putting the lats in a very lengthened position, which you get on vertical pulls. When you push your hips forward and pull over, you're essentially performing a row at that point. So here, this first half of the range of motion is a vertical pull, and then the second half of the range of motion is a horizontal pull. So you're getting the benefits of a vertical pull by lengthening the lats, and the benefits of a horizontal pull by contracting the lats really hard. So you're killing two birds with one stone. This is probably my second favorite lat exercise behind ring chin-ups, but you know, most people aren't doing those, so these are great. All right, folks, here we go. Set number one, starting with the rear delt fly. Double overhand grip, take a couple of steps back, and you want to leave the elbows mostly extended, and then bow. You see how Montana's bringing her shoulder blades together. Again, imagine you've got a pencil here in the middle of your back and try to squeeze that pencil on each rep. That's 5 so far, yeah? 6. Go Montana! Yeah, let's see if we can get 12, 8. We got 4 more. Oh, these are getting tough. 10. Oh, she's grimacing. She's grimacing. 11. Last one, last one. Got it. All right, we'll take 12. It's the second week in a row our lovely model has been shut down by the rear delt fly. Last time it was dumbbells. We gotta get some more rear delt action.
Well, it's probably because I've had so much rear delt action for the past 2 days.
Really? Let's see. Oh, that's women. I wouldn't know. I'm black. All right. Lat prayer, hips back.
How many are we going for here?
Let's aim for 10. 1, perfect. Lengthen, contract. Lengthen in this position, contract in this position. 4. And once you start progressing on this exercise, doing these standing can get to be a little challenging because the weight's gonna be pulling you off balance. So in order to go heavier, you can do these kneeling. Last 2. Easy work. 9 and 10. Resting. Great. If you do start to feel your triceps during this exercise, it's not necessarily a bad thing or incorrect because your triceps are in a static contraction as you're performing this, so you might start feeling your triceps working. If they are, just try to focus on your lats, mind-muscle connection, but again, it's not the worst thing, it's not wrong, it's not incorrect per se. Set number 2, folks. And make sure you keep those elbows mostly extended. If you've got a slight bend in the elbow, that is okay. We just want to make sure we don't turn the exercise into a row. 5. Oh, these are getting tough already. How many we got? 7. 8. Let's go 10. Give me one more. 10. Resting. Okay. If you don't quite get to your rep range, again, that is okay. Doesn't mean you did anything wrong. Just go a little lighter on your following set. However, we've already got this as light as possible, so again, you have to just kind of gauge these things as you go. So if you can't go any lighter and you can't get to the rep range that you're trying to get into, then, well, don't worry about it. Just keep on going and just do as many as you can. All right, ready? Set 2 on our lat prayer. Stretch, contract. Stretch, contract. Very nice, good form. Back is flat. We're going back to 10 on this one. 4, 5. 7. 9 and 10, resting. Got it, okay? Set number 2 done. We're gonna do one more and then we'll move on. I would recommend you do 4 sets on your rear delt fly. We're already hitting fatigue and failure, so we're gonna cut it at 3 because we've already fatigued the muscle. So no need to do much more. But again, in this workout, I recommend 4 sets, again, because the posterior delt is predominantly slow twitch. So more volume for that one. The lats are mixed, so 3 or 4 sets if you're a little more advanced, but 3 sets for beginners is all you'll need. It's the last one. Montana's excited. Can't wait.
The other hand over.
That's fine, yes. If you switch which hand's on top, that's totally fine, either way. Let's see if we can get 10 again. 2. Squeeze that pencil. Oh man, these are tough already. 6. Oh, 7. Last one. 8, yeah. Okay, resting. So you see how we went 12, 10, and 8? That's perfect. Montana's not happy about it, but that's perfect. That's what we want, is your reps to be falling off as you go set over set. That means you're fatiguing that muscle. That's what you want. It's a good thing. All right, we're at 20. And last set on our lat prayer. Stretch the lat, contract the lat. 2. 5 to go. 7. Good. Last one. Oh, those got tough at the end. And done. Good. Okay. Done with those. We've got our last exercises coming up, and I'll tell you what they are in a second. Last 2 exercises, leg extension. We're gonna do 3 sets here, but you can get away with doing 4 or even 5 sets on the leg extension. The quads can take an absolute beating, so feel free to go crazy on the quads. And then our second move is called the full lateral raise. This will train both the lateral and the anterior deltoid. We'll show you that one here in a second. You might notice Montana is leaned all the way back. So I recommend on your leg extension machine at your gym, put the pad that goes behind your back, as far back as possible. That's gonna put your quads in a more lengthened position, and you can get a little bit more of a stretch in your quadricep, which will be better for growth. Lengthening seems to be a very powerful muscle growth technique. You know what I mean. All right, here we go. And we're going to 12. And try to stop just before the plates touch back down. That can be a little hard to judge sometimes. It can maybe take you a few reps to kind of get a feel for how low you're supposed to go. 8. 10, last 2. Come on, quads. 11. 12. Resting, okay? And then we're on to the full lateral raise. Now we're just gonna do 2 sets on these. The lateral delts are very fast twitch. Anterior delts are not as fast twitch, but almost. So at the bottom, yep, your palms will face you. And then as you lateral raise out to your side, let your shoulder naturally rotate, and then your palms will point forward. Whoop, there we go. At the top. And let's just go 10 here. 2, 3. This exercise will do a great job of training both the lateral delts and the anterior delt. Once you go past parallel with the ground, the anterior delt takes over. So if you're just trying to hit the lateral delt, of course, stop here. But again, you can train the entirety, or I shouldn't say the entirety, you can train both muscles by going all the way overhead. 10, perfect, resting. Round 1 done. 2 to go on the leg extension, 1 to go on the lateral raise. All right, set number 2, here we go. Now, one question people have on the leg extension is on range of motion. If you don't fully extend your knees, that's not the worst thing, because our primary goal here is lengthening the quadricep. So the most important part of the range of motion is actually back here, where the quad is in a stretch position. That's 8 so far, yeah? 10? No, excuse me. Get it right. I'll take 12. I will take 12. Good job, Montana. You're doing great. You're killing it. You're almost there. All right, full lateral. Let me step back before she punches me in the face. Accidentally. 1. Back to 10, and this will be our last one here. One more on the leg extension, and then we're resting for today. We hit the quads, hamstrings, glutes, lateral, anterior, and posterior delts, pecs, and lats. And it took us probably 40 minutes if we weren't talking. So very efficient. Again, full body training is the way to go, people. And that's 10, yeah. Yeah, good stuff. All right, done with that one. One more on the leg extension, and then again, we're done. Last set for the day, here we go. Let's make it good. Going back to 12. 3. I have a very noisy leg extension machine. That's okay. 6. 10. 11, and done. Good stuff. Very nice. Good work. All right, folks, that's it for day number 3. Again, you can find this workout and dozens more over on musclewiki.com/workouts. We've got 1,100 plus exercises now on the site as well, so go check us out there. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share this video with a friend. Let me know what you want to hear from me next, and I will see you with the next one. Deuces.